Hi, I'm Sarah from Enthusiast, and today I'm here with Lexi from Featurette. So, today is your third time being in Montreal?
Yeah.
It's been 2 years since you were here last.
Don't say it like that, so long. Feels like yesterday.
How does it feel to be back?
Amazing. I love playing Montreal. It's got like a really lit crowd every time. Like obviously last time we were here it wasn't like our tour, it was Scott's tour, so that was like an incredible show, which tonight's gonna be like dirty and sweaty and great. It's gonna be great.
How has the tour been with Forest?
Amazing. Actually, I have toured with Forest slightly small tour before. We've played in Ottawa together, which is what we're doing tomorrow, which is really cool. But she's like an amazing person. She's actually one of the people who I saw playing in Toronto and was like, I have to do this. I don't want to go into this industry. And she really inspired me to do that. So I love playing with her. Yeah. They're super cool.
How did you and John meet?
John and I met at a band camp. Okay. So many years ago, we were both teaching music. We're both music teachers, as it turns out. And we kind of had the same school experience, but a couple years apart. And like we went to the same high school, same university, and had like the same path. We ended up working at the same music camp. And one day he asked me to play guitar with him on a track for like the kids that were at the band camp. And it was really neat because he was trying to show that like, hey, I'm a drum teacher, but you know, think outside the box, like try things, try other instruments that you're not used to. And because of that, it was like he was like trying to like break them out of their shells, right? But he really sucks at guitar. So he enlisted me to come play with him, and the rest is history. Yeah.
I had to ask that question for like new people.
Yeah,
but
consistency's sake. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely on the internet already.
For sure.
Yeah.
The catchphrase.
Yeah. This one time.
Bad
Cat.
Million Things is your latest release.
No.
Wrong. Don't know me without you.
But also 2 releases this year. High five for that.
The music video is so creative.
Thank you.
How did you come up with the idea?
I have really bizarre dreams all the time. I don't know if it's like I eat too many bananas before bed or something, but like, yeah, I don't know. I have in case you haven't met me, I have a thing for cats. Surprise, surprise. So that's where all the cat heads came from. But yeah, the director Ian McMillan and I just sort of sat down and we were like, what could we do? Because the song it's a really sad song. If you listen to it, it's all about like, you know, going on your Instagram and like that's like the life you're presenting to people when in reality like we all have those like dark thoughts, you know, like we're not all happy all the time, we're not all together all the time, like put together. So what can we do to show the too much, like I got a million things, you know, like I have all this stuff, but like on the inside, like this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
So every room that we tried to create was like the too much, like do you know Jenna Marbles?
Yes.
You know, the too much gene she talks about? Just like that. So it's like, you know, the room with the teddy bears, like way too many teddy bears on your bed, right? Like you're in a bathtub, but like instead of just like being in the bath, there's like fucking flowers and leaves and like men all around you, like catering, like this stupid stuff like that, right? So we try to create rooms like that. And then how do you bring all those like butler flower head people together with an epic like Backstreet Boys style dance party, obviously. So,
yes.
Yeah.
That was your first single of the year.
Yes.
Why do you feel like that single was like the great way to like come out of hiding?
I feel like the last like I know that we did like Bang and Upside Down and those were like really good for us, but the last like hit that we had that was like radio ready, you know what I mean? Like the one where it was like people really cared and Indie 88 picked it up was Give a Little.
Yeah.
And when you listen to Million Things, you listen to Give a Little. It's like you could picture those coming from the same band versus like a lot of the stuff that we do is like really out there. Like the whole idea of Featurette is that like we're a mini movie or something like that. So every release we have, it's not all like catering to the same sound all the time. Like not every song sounds the same. Not the instruments aren't the same. Like it's always changing because we want it to be really cinematic. So Million Things is kind of like it's got that poppy edge to it. It's very digestible, but then for our actual fans, it's like when you listen to music, it's so sad, which is where my heart is. So yeah.
And then Don't Know Me Without You is more of like a darker one.
So dark.
Were you nervous to hear like people's reactions?
I was so nervous. Oh my god, I was messaging you about it. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be good. Like I'm so worried about this. But I think I think it was always like our fans really care about us. Like we don't have so many fans yet, but the ones that are like we're like I've been saying this all week. We're like blue cheese, okay? We're not for everyone, but the people that we're for, they like really care about us. So yes, we're a strongly flavored band, blue flavor. Yeah, so I was super worried, but it seems to be working out really well. And we have a music video coming next week.
Awesome.
Actually, this is the first time I'm saying this. We have a music video coming next week. You heard it here first. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And personal questions. I know you love cats, like you said before.
My baby.
Beebs.
Yeah.
Did you put cats in your video on purpose because of that?
Is that an actual question, or like do you already know the answer?
Maybe a little bit.
You know the answer. I was like, how could I do this ridiculous thing, and how could I execute this so that it's gonna be like, you know, immortalized on the internet forever? So yeah, it was definitely on purpose. But then the bunny heads weren't either. I really love animals in general. So yeah, we have another music video that we just shot that we teased on our Instagram called White Rabbit. So there's some creepy bunnies in that one too. So I don't know, maybe I just have an animal thing. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You also run a business
I
called
do.
Paint Night. Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So like in what depth? Because that's a really like can of worms, like it's a whole nother thing in there.
Whole thing.
Yeah, so Paint Night, I've been working with Paint Night for 7 years now, and in the last 7 years, we've come a really long way. Like at first, we were working with this guy, just kind of a really intense dude. I'm not going to talk a lot about him because like this needn't be on camera yet. One day, hold me to it.
Okay.
I'm coming out with an EP that's all to do with this topic, and you can be the first one to talk to me about
Awesome.
it because there is some real history there. But anyway, worked for this guy. He was pretty evil. He owes us a lot of money. Wrote some songs about it. Blah blah blah. And from there, we took over the business on our own. So at that point, what we did is we sort of, in Toronto anyway, we grew it all the way through Canada, and then just in Toronto, we honed our little project in. And it was, like at first it's like a lot of like walking, like pounding the pavement, like knocking on doors, like trying to meet people to like get this started. And now we have 250 bars in Toronto and the GTA that work with us, and 85 artists that do our events. And John and I are 2 of those artists, so we still go out and we do paint night events. So if you want to see me as like a bubbly, like not dark at all, like princessy character that drops a lot of F-bombs, like you can catch that at paint night.
Awesome. The next questions are for John. So
Should I get him?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Okay, and technical
We're
break.
back now with John. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. So you make drums. Other than being in the band, like why did you start making drums? Like what inspired you to?
Poverty. So
Poverty.
I didn't have any money to buy new drums, so I decided I would go online and learn how to do it. So that's how I started doing that. Yeah.
And you also love sports. If you could like merge one of your songs into a sports ad, which sport would it be and which song would it be?
Into a sport?
Hard.
Oh man, that's a good question. What's a good sport? Like, what's a good featurette
Okay, like
sport?
hockey. You love hockey.
But it's featurette hockey. I'm not sure it is. I think it's gonna be a sport that's got a lot of intensity and a lot of
Lacrosse.
build-up.
We're lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Very like angry, intense.
What's something you gotta focus on? Like,
Volleyball.
Volleyball? I don't know anything about volleyball though. But like something
I play
you're
volleyball.
worried about it for so long, and like the tension builds up, and then you've got to.
Curling.
There you go, curling. No,
Yeah, we're the
Good question, I don't know.
we're the curling of
any dramatic sport. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that question. I don't know. Do I have to answer it quickly?
I don't know. That's a her question.
If you want to, you could. If you don't want to, it's fine.
We'll email you an answer later, and you can insert it here. Wait, ready?
I think-
frame
I-
it.
I think
Ready?
it's-
Frame it. Here's the answer.
Biathlon. Because you've got to, it's intense, you're running, and then you got to sit down and you got to shoot something far away. There's a lot of concentration, but you're overwhelmed at the same time. There you go.
And which song?
Biathlon. Which song would be good?
You think he knows the titles of our songs?
Yeah, I know.
He's a drummer. He doesn't know about lyrics. This is.
Hum it or sing it, and I'll know.
No, I'd probably say
Yeah, true.
a song you haven't heard yet. So
Okay.
maybe coming up soon.
Song we're
Might be
playing
White
today.
Rabbit, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay.
Playing tonight, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for these questions.
Yeah, it's an intense interview.
Never thought of it.
And the big LED F that's not here today, sadly. How did you come up with that, and like, where did the idea come from? And it's a question for you both.
Lexi thought of it for sure.
Yeah, I literally dreamed it up. I was like, we need a light show, we need it to come with us, like how can we do all these things? And our producer, Mark Kosher, who's like an unbelievable genius, he like kiteboards and builds synths and like all these crazy things, and he's like a crazy photographer too. He's pretty unbelievable. He helped us make this 8-foot tall LED wall that literally rolls up so we can take it with us on tour, and everyone was so jealous of us until at our last show at Adelaide Hall they kind of like folded it right in half and
wrong way.
broke it.
It's the worst.
They broke it! So we're gonna give it CPR and bring it back to life, and like soon there will be enough. I brought something along with me tonight, so you'll have some surprises there.
A replacement.
No, it's not a replacement, but some moving lights, you know.
You're constantly making new music. What does the new era of Featurette sound like?
The new era of Featurette.
I know.
What's your answer?
It's like empowered. Like, so Featurette, like it's hard to describe. Like I was talking to Megan actually about how like I'm not like Carly Rae Jepsen, I'm not like Taylor Swift, like I haven't had all these experiences where I like, you know, I'm with this guy and then I write about what it's like to be with that guy, or I had this like heartbreak and now I'm writing about what it's like to be with that feeling. Like it's not always like that. So Featurette is sort of both our experiences sort of tied into one, and our outlet for that is this character, this like Featurette girl, that's what we call her. So she's me on stage, catch her later. But yeah, she's gone through a journey. So in Crave she was sort of in a relationship and like finding herself from within that relationship. So it was a very destructive one, and this came from a relationship that I was actually in at the time. And you know, John's past experiences too were woven into that, and there was like a common thread there. And then at the end of that album, she comes out the other side, she's stronger, right? And then we had those 2 other songs along the way, Stepping Stones, you know, Upside Down and Bang, and like now the album that's coming out, it's like totally flipped on its head. It's like empowered. It's still got that dark edginess that like is Featurette, but it's like poppier and like there's like light to it and like contrast, and like it's not all songs that are like so full of feels. Some of them are like actually positive feels now, and it's because there's like an air of confidence there that we've never had before. We found our sound, she's found her confidence, we're in a new era.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any last messages where to find you on social medias?
All the social medias are at Featurette Music. So, you know, because Featurette is actually a word, it means like a mini film. So we obviously wanted to incorporate that in our band name, which is why we make amazing music videos like Don't Know Me Without You, coming out on October 10th. Catch you there. Yeah. But yeah, so they're all at Featurette Music because we had to differentiate that we're the band. That's how you can catch us. Yeah.
Awesome. You can catch Featurette on the rest of their tour with Core Esme. Last show is tomorrow in Ottawa.
You better get this interview out fast.
I hope so.
Last show was yesterday in Ottawa.
I'm Sarah. This is Featurette. See you next time.
See you next time.